How's everyone doing? All good? So who wants free traffic, as Bobby said? Hands up. Okay, so today I'm going to give you some simple yet practical ways to get free traffic from Google. So first thing first, why bother with SEO in the first place? As Bobby mentioned, costs of ads are rising every year, and I'm also finding more traditional big companies are coming into the market as they move their spend from offline to online, which is obviously not a great thing for you guys, because it means you're now competing with some of the larger corporate companies, which starts to bump the price up, cost per click gets higher, and that's why I feel that you need to be looking at SEO as a different option to paid ads, basically. More and more people are using ad blockers. People don't even want to see your ads, let alone consume them. So it's important that you actually, that's a viable option as well in terms of people becoming numb to blatant advertising as well. Again, that ties into the ad blocking side of things. They're not even seeing that. Also, there's a compounding effect when it comes to SEO. So you could be doing activity in month 1, and you could see the benefit in month 12, 2 years down the line. So if you're doing it consistently, you will get the results. It's just having the right strategy in place and making sure you execute on it. And plus, look, the traffic is free. You can do all of this stuff yourself. Once you realize that it's not rocket science, you can start to do write some blogs, you can outsource the process, you can build links. It doesn't need to be complicated. And as I mentioned, SEO doesn't need to be complicated. It's not black magic. I think, having been to a lot of SEO conferences over the years, SEOs like to think that they're some sort of magician, and they use a lot of technical jargon. It makes, a lot of the time it makes no sense. When you actually break it down, you realize that it's just a set of different signals, different tasks that you need to do in order to get you the results. So, if you've read anything about SEO, you've probably heard the term on-page and off-page optimization. But we like to break things down into 4 main key areas and to just try and simplify things. So, first things first, keywords. They've been around since the start of Google's algorithm and how you rank on Google. The rules have changed. It used to be that you'd basically pick a keyword, find how many searches it got per month on Google, and then you basically stuff that keyword on a page as many times as possible, and that would rank. But Google's main goal has always been to provide the user with the best experience. So they've updated their algorithm so that you don't necessarily have to do that. Arguably you can go after one main keyword that's driving a lot of searches per month, and you'll then naturally show up for a variation of that main keyword. So yeah, it's the way that the algorithm works has changed a lot, and a lot of those spammy tactics that people used to be able to get away with, it's just not the case now. Content. So content is a hugely important one. If you don't have good quality regular content, say on your blog, making sure your pages are engaging, you've got video, you've got the right elements on the page, then it's going to be very difficult for you to rank. Links is again, a lot of you may know this, but getting links to your site is hugely important, and it's still arguably one of the top 3 ranking factors out there. So you need to be building links consistently. And UX, so user experience. We're seeing this is becoming a lot more of an influence on how you rank on Google. It's a much bigger ranking signal now. The way that your site looks, the way that users are able to navigate around it, it actually makes a big difference in your SEO. And I'll explain that a little bit in more detail and go into each of these 4 areas as we go along. So first things first, you've got to know who you're targeting. You know, are you after local, national or international business? Reasons being that the strategy for SEO is slightly different. So if you're going after local customers, then you want to make sure that you've got Google My Business set up and it's properly optimized. You've got a lot of Google reviews. You know, you're creating localized content. If you're going after national business, then there needs to be a lot more of a focus on content and link building. And international is similar to national, but there's more of a focus on the URL structure because it gets a lot more complicated. You know, if you've got a website in multiple different languages, then you need to make sure you structure the site correctly. For most of you, certainly those that are doing service-based business, I would advise starting with local because there's going to be less competition. You know, as soon as you start competing on a national level for certain keywords, and even more internationally, you know, you're going to come across a lot more stiff competition. So yeah, I'd start locally if you've got that option. So before you do anything, I would suggest you do this one thing. Set up the right tools for the job. A plumber doesn't go to work without his tools. It's the same for an SEO specialist. You know, you need to make sure that you've got the right tools in place, you can analyze the data, otherwise it's all guesswork. You know, you're hoping you do something and that's going to result in, you know, an outcome. You need to be able to see what the competition are doing and see how you can better it. These are the tools that I would suggest that you use as free tools. Google Analytics, everyone knows what Google Analytics is. The one that people don't set up, and a lot of the time I speak to clients and they're completely unaware of it, is actually Google Search Console. And from an SEO perspective, it's actually better than probably analytics on some level because one, it gives you a health diagnostic of your website and you can see if there's any crawl errors, whether there's, you know, any broken links. But more importantly, you can actually see what keywords your site is already showing up for. You know, some people don't even realize they're showing up for keywords and haven't even included those keywords within the copy of their pages. So you can actually take those, you know, the findings that you get in Search Console and you can put them into your pages and basically give them a boost, you know, get them up the rankings. Screaming Frog, I won't go into too much detail about this, but it's a desktop application. It's mainly used for SEO audits. So again, it crawls your pages, if you've got any broken links, have you got any SEO tags missing. It's a free application based on a certain amount of pages. So, you know, if you've got a big site, you're probably going to have to pay for it. GT Metrics, site speed tool, how quickly your pages load is massively important. And that gives you really in-depth analysis on what tasks you need to do to speed up your pages. And Answer the Public is another one which not a lot of people are familiar with, which basically pulls data from Google in terms of the questions people are actually answering on Google. So what we would do is we'd take those questions and build pages and answers to those questions. Paid SEO tools. So, you know, within our agency, we can't just rely on free tools. Certainly, as we're an SEO agency, we need to make sure that, you know, we're delving into the data as much as possible. Just a couple here. So Ahrefs, great for backlink audits. So you can delve in and see what links you've got to your site. You can also go into your competitors' sites and see what links they have got. A little tactic for you guys is, you know, you can actually take the links that your competitors have got and replicate them for yourself. You know, why reinvent the wheel and try and go out after new links when you can actually see, well, our competitor is ranking on the first page of Google constantly, so why not just almost, you know, steal their links on some level or find out how you can generate those links. SEMrush does similar to Ahrefs, but their competitor analysis tools are very good. Mangle SEO tools, it's like a suite of tools. I'd recommend Keyword Finder within that. You can basically see, you can type in a keyword and you can see visually who's in the top 10 and how many links they've got to that page. So that's a very useful one. And look, you can drive traffic to your site and improve your rankings, but if that's not converting into anything tangible, then, you know, it's a pointless exercise. That's why I'd suggest either setting up Hotjar or Crazy Egg, because you can actually track and see, there's heat map software, there's tracking clickable elements to it. You can actually see where your users are interacting on your site and how best you can improve that. A lot of companies that they come to me and say, Charlie, we want to improve our SEO, and these are the keywords that we want to go after. And I'm like, okay, so what was your keyword, process strategy? Oh, we went into one of these tools and we just picked out a few keywords, and these are the ones we want, which is completely the wrong way to go about things. There is a method to how you choose the right keywords, and I'll go into a little bit of detail in the next slide. So, understand the intent behind the keywords you pick. So, what I mean by that is some keywords are going to be people that are doing research, looking for particular products or services, and they're not quite ready to buy yet. And there'll be other keywords that are more consumer intent. So they're almost ready to buy. There's what I would call buyer keywords. An example being, one of my clients said to me, they're in the affiliate marketing space, and they said, we want to rank for affiliate marketing for our homepage. Okay. Well, affiliate marketing is a very, very general term. There's lots of different types of people searching for that. They would be better off going after the term affiliate marketing network. Even though it gets less searches, there's more of a specific intent there. It's more related to their business. Do your competitor research and be somewhat realistic. For example, if you're a startup law firm and you want to go after the term lawyer New York, unless you've got a huge amount of resources and budget to go after that, you need to be on some level realistic. That's why I said in previous slides, start with local, because there's less competition. Within the really competitive markets, you're gonna be competing with sites that have got huge link profiles, lots of content, a team of 10 people just focusing on SEO, or they've hired an SEO agency like myself and my team to do the work. So you need to find the opportunity areas. Know your audience and understand the language that they're using. Basically, what I would suggest is go to events within your industry or within your niche. There's going to be certain language that they're using. Often the keywords that you think people are searching for are completely opposite to what they're actually searching for. So you've just got to get into the heads of your customer and understand the terminology and what they're using, because that can help you, and you can build content around those keywords. And finally, if you've got the budget, test keywords on Google AdWords. Straight away you're going to see what keywords are converting, and then what you can do is you can then take those keywords and put it into your SEO content pages. And over time, that SEO content page is going to rank, and it means you can then switch off your ad and you're not having to pay for ads all the time. I've very briefly skimmed over keyword research, and I could probably talk about this for 2 hours, and obviously we haven't got the time for that. We have put together at our agency a sort of a keyword research blueprint, so if you want a copy, feel free to drop me an email, I can send that to you. So where's your backlinks, bro? Before I delve in, just to be clear on what backlinks are, I'm sure a lot of you know, but just those that don't, a backlink is basically a link from an external site to your site. Simple as that. Backlinks are still an important part of Google's algorithm. From the experience that we've done within our agency, we've found it's still probably one of the top 3 ranking signals out there. Focus on links from high domain authority sites. Domain authority is basically a score rating created by Moz, and it's a score from 0 to 100, 100 being a site that's got a high domain authority, 0 being a terrible site that's got a very low domain authority. Tends to be, in terms of the scoring and the rating, is based on the amount of links that site has got. If that's got a good link profile and lots of links to it, then it tends to have a higher domain authority. There is other factors involved, but that seems to be the way it works. And that ties in, so aim for quality links over quantity. So, sites from a high domain, domain authority sites. I would, when you're starting out, however, if you've got no links at all, don't be too fussy on the types of links you get. Obviously, if it's a really spammy link, completely avoid, but have a little bit of diversity in your links. You know, what I mean by that is, you know, set up links from business directories, but also if you can get high domain authority sites like PR outlets, then that's going to be very useful as well. Relevance is key. You know, if you run a web design business and you're getting a backlink from a dog walking site, there's no relevance there at all. You know, you need to be building links from sites within your niche or industry, or at least related, and build consistently. Take the time each week to allocate a couple of hours at least to, like, okay, what links are we going to go after this month? Because otherwise, you know, you'll just get overwhelmed and you just won't take action on it. So here's a few quick wins in terms of building links. Make sure all your company social media pages are set up correctly. So often I, you know, will delve into clients' accounts and they've got a Facebook page and a LinkedIn page and a Twitter page, but they've not filled out the About Us section, where there's, you know, the website field there available to get a link. A lot of these social media sites have got a very strong and a high domain authority, so building quick links to these sites is going to be really useful. Sponsor a charity. .org sites tend to have, again, a good link profile, strong domain authority, and that can be an easy way to generate a link, because they will actually have a section on their website of sponsors, and you could be one of those sponsors, and they often link back to your site. Leverage your network. You know, do you have a large network? Do you have a big social media influence? Can you get featured on podcasts, for example? You know, yes, you get brand awareness, but the person who's interviewing you often has a website, and in the show notes, you're going to get a link back to your site. PR, another great one. Now, I found that, you know, one link from Forbes, entrepreneur.com, you know, some of these big outlets can literally transform your rankings and traffic almost overnight, at least your rankings, certainly. And it means that you don't have to build loads of links because you've got those really strong PR sites. Testimonials, you know, we all buy softwares, we all buy services. If you can leave testimonials, those companies often feature the testimonials on their site and will often link back to the actual person who's leaving the testimonial. So you can get links back from leaving testimonials, believe it or not. A few sort of other sites that have got a high domain authority often are like blog networks or forums, Medium, Reddit, Quora. You know, you can leave or post an article on Medium. You can then link back to your own site. You can get involved in debates on subreddits. And then after a while, you can, you know, slip in a link back to your site. Have you read this article that we've just put out? There's ways to do it. You don't want to straight away be like, okay, link back, you know, linking back to your site. You need to provide value up front so it doesn't look too spammy. Blog commenting. So blog commenting is one that, you know, speak to some SEO specialists and they'll say, no, that's, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. That's like 2007, that doesn't work. Well, we've tested this and it does. So what I would suggest, if you basically find sites within your niche and leave a blog comment on one of these sites each day. But it needs to be a genuine blog comment. So you need to read the blog and actually leave a proper comment. Because what you'll find is when you leave the comment, there's actually a field to put in your website. Plus, it's more likely to be approved. If you're, you know, if you hire someone on Fiverr, for example, to basically put a blog comment on 300 websites, you know, it's never ever going to get approved because it's just a generic comment that has no impact on, you know, and no relevance to the blog that you're reading. And this is a bit more for local SEO. So building out your citations, what's your basically your name, address, and phone number on a number of different local, national, niche business directories. There usually is a website field. Sometimes there isn't, but if you're doing local SEO anyway, there's still actually an SEO benefit to doing that. And don't forget the other links too. So everyone focuses on backlinks, or what's also referred to as inbound links, but there's actually other links that you need to be actually executing on. So internal links. Internal links is basically a hyperlink on your page from one page to another page. So from blog A to blog B. It actually passes authority throughout the pages. So if you've got, say, blog A, and that's got a lot of links, it's great content, it's driving a lot of traffic, if you're then linking to blog B, that actually passes authority through to that new blog, and it means that blog B is, the rankings of that blog is going to go up, it's more likely to drive traffic as well. So making sure that you're linking up pages correctly, actually just that alone can make a big difference. And external links, so actually linking out to high authority sites. It shows Google that you're a trusted website as well, and actually it's been proven to improve your own rankings by linking out to other high authority sites. Create skyscraper content. So skyscraper content is a term or a technique that was coined by SEO expert Brian Dean, which is effectively create content that is 10 times better than anything else out there. So picking a topic, then selecting the right keywords that drive a lot of searches per month, analysing that and building out content that is that much better than anything that is ranked on the first page of Google. So how do you effectively do this? Well, first things first, as I said, you need to study your competition. So use the tools out there. It may be as simple as going onto a site like Ahrefs and searching for keywords, finding a term which has got a low competition but a high search volume, then going on to Google and typing that into Google and seeing who's in the top 10 already. Then analysing those pages and seeing, well, how many words do they have on the page? Do they have a video? Do they have a table of content? Is the way that the page laid out and the design good? If it's not, you need to then see what the opportunity areas are and basically create something that's that much better. So, if you go onto the first page and you click on the first result and it's a blog that's 1,000 words, then you create an article that's 2,000 words and you put a video in it and you add imagery in it and you make sure that the layout's good, and even basic stuff like the font size. People, the amount of times that we take on clients and I look at their blog and it's like size 8 font size, and no one's ever going to read that, and certainly not on a mobile as well. Making sure that I think I mentioned here that the site needs to be laid out, the responsiveness needs to be there, it needs to look good on mobile. All these things basically have an impact. Plus, don't forget to properly optimize it as well. You can create this massive guide, but if you don't have the right SEO elements on the page, you haven't gone after the right keywords, they're not in the right position, you haven't optimized the tags and added in your internal links and your external links and put a video in. All these small things have a big impact. So just, take the time. Plus, again, quality over quantity. I would rather you write one 4,000 word skyscraper piece a month than write 3 to 4 500 word, very low quality standard blog articles. I think there's a perception that you need to be writing every week or every day. It's really not the case, and we're finding that long form content works and ranks far better than the shorter content. So SEO is a waste of time without great user experience. So we can improve your rankings, we can start driving traffic to the site, but if the site is not laid out correctly and it doesn't have the right converting elements, then it's never going to convert. The whole basis of SEO is not to just improve rankings, it's to get you more business, more inbound leads. And there's a misconception that you just need to get more traffic. It's all about better rankings, more traffic. But if your site looks like it's from 1990, then it's never gonna convert to anything tangible. Plus, we're also finding that Google are paying far more attention to user experience metrics. So actually, if you're driving traffic and the site isn't laid out correctly and not converting, then it can actually have a negative impact in your SEO, and you're just not going to get the results that you want. So in particular, out of the user experience metrics, we found that time spent on page, which is called dwell time in the SEO industry, is one of the biggest factors. So how can you keep people on the page for longer? Well, as I just talked about, skyscraper articles and guides, we found that we've been creating for our own agency like 4,000 word plus blog articles, and people have been reading that whole article. They've been spending a lot of time on the page because we've laid it out correctly. It's a clean layout. There's no ads down the side. It's got the table of content at the top. It's got subheadings to break up the text. Clean and responsive design. Obviously, you need to make sure that it's optimized for mobile and desktop. That's a big one that we're seeing, is that people focus heavily on desktop, mobile, optimizing for that, but they completely forget about mobile. And as I mentioned, video and audio. So, video is a very quick way to actually keep people on the page for longer. People consume content in different ways, and it makes you stand out from the rest of the people that are putting out regular articles as well. It seems a bit obvious, but create great content. Don't just, create great content, not just good content. It needs to be, I'm finding it needs to be that much better in order for it to have the right results. Here's just a few examples of what we've been able to do at our agency to basically rank for certain keywords on the first page. You may not be able to see that, but we've been able to outrank some of the real big boys in our market, like the likes of HubSpot, Search Engine Journal, Forbes, Entrepreneur.com, purely by creating these skyscraper pieces and looking at the opportunity areas. Again, there's a few examples here as well. So we're ranking for National SEO Strategy in the UK. The other metric that Google also looking at is click-through rate. So, for example, take sort of this bottom one here. If more people are clicking on position number 5 versus number 1, then Google will see, okay, that site is of value, we're now going to bump it up. So how can you best optimize for this? Well, you need to make sure that what's called your title tag, which is the blue text here, is got the right keywords, but is also got, is almost clickbaity. You've almost got to entice people to actually click on it, plus the meta description as well. It's almost your sales pitch. So making sure that those are properly optimized is going to be key. Again, just skimming through some of these, but just to show what's possible. Our domain authority is not very high. We're competing at sites that have got a domain authority of plus 80, whereas we're sort of more in the 30s. So it just shows that content alone, if it's properly optimized, can be a major difference. And it's not all about links all the time. A lot of the pages that we've been able to rank for, they've got very little links to them, if any at all. Not to say that that's not important. You can, the more links you get, say that you were in position, here we're position 4 organically. If we want to bump that up, then we probably do need to create more links to that page. Just a few examples. This area here, sometimes Google feature what's called a featured snippet. So they'll pull data through so you can actually see some of the text before you click through to the site. So we're actually ranking here for a featured snippet and organically in the third position. So this just correlates to in terms of average time on page. So we actually analysed the data. We found that a lot of the skyscraper pieces that we've done, people are spending a lot of time on those pages, 6+ minutes, nearly 7 minutes, 8 minutes on a page, which compared to most sites is pretty high. And look, you're not always gonna. Your home page and your services pages is a little bit different. People are expected to go to other pages and won't spend as much time necessarily on those pages. That's why your blog is a perfect platform to create these long form pieces of content. And start with the low hanging fruit first. So if we just go back to, I'm assuming that now you've got Google Search Console set up and you're seeing some data come through. So as you can see down the side here, you've got the keywords that potentially you're showing up for. You've got clicks, impressions, click-through rate, and position. What I would actually do is filter by impressions. So see what keywords you're already showing up for that are generating the most impressions and have got a relatively low position. So taking any position probably under 100, you can then take those keywords and either build content around it or put that keyword into actually existing pages on your site.